Morning all. So what is to be done about the allegations of sexual harassment at Westminster? Well, there's a lot of head of steam building up behind the idea of a sort of independent body to oversee complaints of sexual assault, sexual harassment. But a lot of unanswered questions. Number one is, what sort of powers would this body have? Would it be just about dispute resolution, about mediation, or would it have investigatory powers, in which case it becomes a sort of quasi-judicial body, obviously would need a lot more resources. But perhaps the most important question is, what penalties could it impose on errant MPs? Because in most walks of life, if you are found guilty of sexual harassment, you'll face a charge of gross misconduct and you'll be booted out of your work. You will be sacked. But how do you sack an MP? Because they're not employed by Parliament, they're not employed by their parties, they're basically employed by you and I, by voters. And then the question is, well, how do you sack an MP if they're found guilty of sexual misconduct? And bluntly, you can't really. So does that mean that the only sanction an MP would face would be the shame of having to go through a grievance procedure? And I suspect many people would say, well, that simply isn't sufficient a sanction. So there are an awful lot of unanswered questions.